Yeah, it's a really nice feeling that people are appreciating it, especially in India. And
टाइटल सॉन्ग का जो आपका सीक्वेंस है वो बारिश वाला, आई थिंक इट्स ब्यूटीफुली ब्यूटीफुली शॉट.
we've got 3 episodes to find out. I can't give away too many spoilers.
दाना नीर, one of the last episodes, the way she said कि ज्यादा फ्री होने की जरूरत नहीं है.
Working with Dhanani has been an amazing experience. She's so talented, and I'm so proud to see the work that she's done.
ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस आपका कमाल का है. अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर आपको मिला नहीं, आपने रेजिग्नेशन लेटर.
Yeah.
आई
Yeah.
थॉट
The more the audience laughs with you, the more the audience can relax a bit, the more they emotionally connect with you. So
you communicate a lot with your eyes.
the eyes are the one thing that don't lie. The eyes always give away what a character is feeling. Forgiveness is probably the ultimate act that you can do for yourself, is to forgive yourself for any mistakes you've made, for people you've hurt.
What attracts you more, stardom or the satisfaction in great performance?
The only reason I do it is because I feel like if I don't, I would go crazy.
There are fans who tend to say that you just vanish for long periods of time.
I want people to see the magic on the screen. I want them to see that. I feel like if I give people too much of me or who I am, I feel like it kind of does a disservice to the work.
Many requests for you and Dana Need to come together for another drama.
Yeah, why not? 100%.
Jo Bache Hain Sang Samet Lo. You've mentioned in one of the interviews that it is maybe the most challenging role that you've ever been given.
It was still the most difficult. I struggled to let go of him once it was over because I mean, I changed myself for it. I changed everything.
You paired with Iqra Aziz, I believe.
She's one of the most generous actors that I've worked with.
It is one of the most eagerly awaited projects that can possibly come out of the subcontinent.
To be seen in this giant, this massive scale narrative, I think it's a big deal for all of us.
There have been several Pakistani films which are really wonderful, but the quantum is very less.
We're good at telling the long story.
Someone was like frantically requesting कि please इसको मीम से मोहब्बत को अभी खत्म मत करिए.
I feel like I'd rather want people wanting more than saying we've had enough.
When your parents moved to Canada, they had a struggle.
Oh, you see, when we were in Canada, I moved when I was quite young. The time there has taught me a lot of things. It's taught me humility. It's taught me how a family should function.
As an actor, how do you just censor yourself, or maybe not censor yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't find that I censor myself in any way. Yakin Ka Safar was a great experience. Yeah, that essentially that show changed my life.
Ahad Raza Mir definitely has been living rent free in my mind for a while now. Damn his eyes. Lots of love to him from India.
Nice to know that I'm living rent free.
Ahad Dananir pairing gives similar vibes of Bollywood couples Ranbir Alia.
I mean, they're comparing to another, lovely couple, so it's good to know that.
शारिक को आप जब आप कहते हैं कि इनकी थोड़ी तवाज़ु और करो, तो अभी तो एकदम बिल्कुल आप सुर में आ चुके हैं.
I think 2016 में जब आया था तो एक तो it was I couldn't read Urdu.
Ahad and Dana should do more dramas. Best jodi.
I loved working with her, and I think she's so talented, and I can't wait to see what she does next.
ये कन्फेशन की बात कर रही हैं कि मोहब्बत करता हूँ तुमसे. क्या क्या बात थी भाई.
मोहब्बत करता हूँ तुमसे, like, it just comes out because it needs to come out. Not everybody's gonna like you. Not everyone's gonna enjoy the work you do. I think the trolling doesn't matter.
अगर हैमलेट की मुलाकात तलहा से हो, दोनों किस टॉपिक पे बात करेंगे?
Hey.
आपका डायरेक्टोरियल डेब्यू किस जॉनरा में हो सकता है? ऑल टाइम फेवरेट रोमांटिक फिल्म?
All-time favorite romantic film. Oh wow.
क्रेजीएस्ट फैन गर्ल मोमेंट अगर कोई आपको याद हो?
I wouldn't call them crazy. I would call them passionate.
अगर शेक्सपियर और फरहत इश्तियाक जी दोनों आपको एक वक्त पर अपने ड्रामे के लिए कास्ट करना चाहें,
I love Shakespeare, but
लव स्टोरी या साइकोलॉजिकल थ्रिलर?
hey. Hi everyone, this is Adil Zamir. You're watching Connect Cine with Faridun. Stay connected.
आहद, वेलकम ऑन कनेक्ट सिने. कैसे हैं आप?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
और बहुत बहुत मुबारकबाद आपको. मीम से मोहब्बत इज ट्रेंडिंग सुपर्बली.
Yeah. Yeah.
एंड इंटरेस्टिंग चीज ये है, मैंने आपकी देखी है, एंड that it's trending ahead of Sikandar in India on YouTube, which is surreal.
Yeah, it's a really nice feeling that people are appreciating it, especially in India, and it's a very good feeling. And I'm somewhat overwhelmed, yeah, but people have enjoying the story, they're enjoying the performances and everything. So I think I consider myself very lucky that the people are giving this much love and support.
You've been doing some amazing work as far as in the acting field is concerned. Um, शेक्सपियर से आपको जोड़ा जाता है और there's a very serious high octane element that you can bring to the table as far as emotions are concerned. लेकिन जब आप देखते हैं कि एक लेवल ऑफ एंटरटेनमेंट में फॉर एग्जांपल अ ड्रामा लाइक मीम से मोहब्बत जो एक खुशी लोगों के अंदर आप देखते हैं and in terms of across the masses for example what does that tell you about the craft as far as acting is concerned, the impact it can have?
See, I feel I'm a big believer in the fact that we're storytellers. We want to tell a good story. We believe, especially I do, that the stories that we tell are for families. I believe in content that everyone, a family can come together and watch that content together. Mother, father, and their children, grandparents, and I feel like these stories are, some of the rare moments where families can actually come together and enjoy something together and have a discussion about it, enjoy the performances, enjoy the story, the music, the chemistry. I think it's important because again, it's something that brings people together. It's bringing together audiences. People are talking about the show. It's bringing together, countries. It's bringing people together, bringing people who speak the same language together. And I think there's nothing more beautiful than that. And when it comes to storytelling, I think again, um, what's pivotal is the performances, is the characters, is turning these people into real people. I think that's my job. I never really look at everything as if it's surface level or just what's written in the text. Although Farhad Ishtiaq is such a beautiful writer, she writes these amazing stories. So there's so much subtext and content for an actor to kind of pull something out of. She's always. I mean, this is my, I think, fifth collaboration with her, and I've been so fortunate to have had these roles. There's always something in the script, in the story, that allows for an actor to feed off of. I sometimes I call myself a lazy actor, and that's because the script has so much in it for me to kind of take it in instead of having to sit back and constantly think about how am I going to develop this, what's the backstory, what's that. It's all there for you. Your job is just to make it as authentic as possible. So I think a lot of us on set, um, Ali Hassan, our director, Dana Need included, like we all really obsessed about these characters. We obsessed about each other. How is Talha gonna feel here? How is Ayat gonna feel here? Abid Saab, Mohid. We were all. It's this beautiful synergy and this kind of this feeling of family while we're on set, which I think it shows itself on screen.
All right, so एक बहुत ही बड़े तबके का एक रिक्वेस्ट है और एक डिमांड है कि जो आपका जो टाइटल सॉन्ग का जो आपका सीक्वेंस है वो बारिश वाला, आई थिंक इट्स
Gee,
ब्यूटीफुली ब्यूटीफुली शॉट. सो क्या वो कभी वो देखने को मिलेगा?
well, we've got 3 episodes to find out. I can't give away too many spoilers. But I will say people will not be disappointed. I think from what people are wanting to see, what the audience is, what their desire to finally see happen, it something of that sort will happen.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, something about Asim Azhar's song. Shuja Haider
Yeah,
has composed a beautiful song, and I think the way the song is utilized um, during crucial junctures is
right.
wonderful as well. Music arrangements too as well. Something about the song title track.
I love the song. I think the first time I heard it, I felt that it very well represented the story that we were going for. Even in its lyrics, even in its musicality, I think it really does hit a certain string in the heart. Um, And I think sometimes the music is what really sets the tone for a project. I think just as much as the performances, just as much as the direction, the writing, the music is what sets that. It makes that world real. It gives you that kind of internal visceral response as a human being. We react to music in the same way that a lot of actors react to music. Music is one of the ways that I find that I can bring myself into a space that allows for a performance to come out. So in that regard, Asim has sung it beautifully. Shuja Haider is a legend when it comes to music, and I'm just so I think we're very lucky that we got this, this song made, and it really has served its purpose.
All right, you sing very well as well. You play instruments too. So
Yeah.
can we see Talha singing for Roshi maybe?
Oh, I don't know if I'm that bold at this moment, but no, music is something I really enjoy. I play a lot of instruments. I think music is something I'll definitely look more into as time goes on.
Okay, all right. How do you sum up the sort of chemistry that you're having with Dananir? One of the last episodes, the way she said कि ज़्यादा free होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. I thought it was a beautiful moment to say
Yeah.
that.
Uh, you know, the chemistry between two actors, whether it's the two leads or whether it's with the supporting cast or whatever it is, I think the most important thing on a set is to get to know people. As soon as you break that ice, there's this time that you have to give um outside of the action and cut, where you have to really give a little bit of yourself to everyone so that people feel comfortable. And I think, and that's with any pairing, any actor you work with, that chemistry comes out in how genuine you are with each other. And I think, working with Dhanani has been an amazing experience. She's so talented, and I'm so proud to see the work that she's done, and especially from how her character has developed from this lovely, bubbly character to this kind of. It's funny. I feel like both characters become the inverse of what they were in the beginning. Talha becomes more like Ayat. Ayat becomes more like Talha,
Yeah.
because a big theme in the show is about maturity. It's about when does someone become mature? What is it that happens in their lives that makes them break free from the childlike wonder that we all wish we live in? Um, and it's a reality of life. And I think this is one of the nice things about the show is there's moments in our lives where we come back to being alive, and there's moments where we realize we need to give up um, this childlike wonder inside of us. Although that might sound sad, it's a reality. We all have to grow up one way or the other.
Right. So humor has been an important part of your journey so far, creative journey. Um, Hum Tum is one drama that you really enjoy yourself as far as humor is
Yeah.
concerned. Even though Meem Se Mohabbat, the character is rather intense and brooding and in his own world whatsoever, but there are some wonderful funny moments as well.
Right.
One of the funniest moments that I thought was when you tell Ayat के ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस आपका कमाल का है,
Yeah.
अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर आपको मिला नहीं, आपने रेजिग्नेशन लेटर
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought I thought it was simply hilarious. How important is humor for you as a creative person?
Oh, I think it's one of the most vital things, and the reason I believe that is because I think on a day-to-day basis we are all living very serious lives, but there's moments in between where there's a something funny that happens, or something that feels uh, like it takes you back a little bit. And I think the more the audience laughs with you, the more the audience can relax a bit, the more they emotionally connect with you. I think it's important to have the audience laugh with you, because it takes down their barriers for a bit. They think that, this character is a funny character, this character is lighthearted, or however they want to see it. If they laugh with you, they will cry with you in the end. Because sometimes the most funny characters are the ones who are the most tragic. And the ones who are the most tragic, when they have those light moments, it means something to the audience. They've gone on that journey with you. They've realized, okay, I think that's why it's so effective when Talha starts acting a bit uh, more like how he used to be. That people are connecting to it because they see him softening. And the same way when you see Ayat's character going from, the happy-go-lucky girl that she was and still is, to kind of stepping into the mature world, we feel that. So I think comedy and humor is something that really is very effective, and it's again, if they laugh with you, they'll cry with you.
That's beautifully said. Okay, now there are several moments when you communicate a lot with your eyes. That sense of hurt, like for example, with Sabika, with Ayat as well. Um, uh, tell us the importance of acting without saying anything. Tell us importance of saying things through your eyes, for example, saying through your body language. How crucial is that important for an actor?
I think it's very important. It's tough for me to comment on because it's not something that I really think about. I find that these are moments that come out during scenes that you don't plan them, you don't think about them, you just have to be present in the moment in the scene, and sometimes magic just happens. And I think at the end of the day, it's just about feeling it. You can play things on the surface level. You can just get by in a scene if you want, but when you really feel it, when you put yourself in those shoes, when you believe you're the character, when you believe this story that you're part of, um, that stuff kind of happens on its own. The eyes are the one thing that don't lie. The eyes always give away what a character is feeling, no matter what they say, no matter how they act. It's in the eyes, whether there's pain, whether there's hope, whether there's joy. The eyes give it away. And I think if as long as you feel it, it reflects on the camera because the camera is your best friend. The camera will pick up the little nuances, the little details that you yourself subconsciously aren't aware that you're doing. The character is doing it. It's not Ahad doing it. It is Talha. Um, so again, it's difficult for me to comment about because it's something it's very organic. It just naturally happens.
How does one communicate a sense of grief? How does one internalize it so that even without saying, for example, through dialogues, you literally just emitting those vibes of grief and maybe nursing certain griefs and an element of guilt, which a lot of people do.
I think gr- there's a lot of pain in this character, especially because there's pain, there's grief, there's guilt.
Yeah.
And as long as that character is living under this umbrella of grief, it'll always show, even in the most positive of moments. You can tell the character has gone through something. There is pain that sits in them no matter what. Um, and I think that's the only way to describe it is that there's this cloud over the character. There's this dark aura that just surrounds them constantly. So I think that's why maybe that grief comes out, that pain comes out, that guilt comes out, the guilt of what he's done, um, the responsibility that follows him. It's tragic, but again, it comes into one of the themes of the show that I believe is a theme is grief, is the idea of loss and really how to let go of the things that are painful to you, how to let go of the things that are still eating you up inside. And as long as that thought is constantly in my brain, it just shows. That's why I feel like I can't. And again, a lot of the credit goes to Ali Hassan, our director, who really, I will say, controlled my performance quite a bit. Um, because there were moments where I would really feel something and want it to come out, but he was the one that really kept me on a certain tempo, on a certain scale, to make sure that the audience needs to be there for you when the character really breaks down, when he allows the ayat to come into his life, when he has those weak moments. There must be control. If there isn't control, I think it's more interesting to watch someone trying not to show how they feel versus just showing how they feel, which is a difficult thing sometimes for actors to do, we want to show you, not tell you. um there's moments in the show where I think Talha is saying one thing but feeling something completely different, in the scene where he basically tells Ayat that he wants nothing to do with her and she needs to get out of his life. uh, the only thing I thought in my head is this is the last thing that Talha wants to say to her. He would never want to say this to her, but he must, because just because his life is ruined doesn't mean he should ruin someone else's life. And this is where people, he needs to, him healing is him giving in to love, is him giving in to how he feels. And so when that finally happens, a lot of beautiful moments happen. But again, I think there's a challenge for him to kind of forgive himself for everything he's done.
Right. How important is it for people to forgive themselves? No one is perfect.
Nobody's perfect. I think that's part of life. Uh, we make mistakes, we do good things. I think one of the hardest things in the world to do is to be a good person. It's a very difficult thing. Um, and I think forgiveness is probably the ultimate act that you can do for yourself is to forgive yourself for any mistakes you've made, for people you've hurt. If you've hurt yourself, if you put yourself into situations that you feel like you could have done without. The point is to forgive yourself, because the thing is, the past is already left. The future is the thing that you need to look forward to. And if you dwell in the past, which Allah has done for years, it starts to have an effect on you. It sucks the life out of you. So I think the beauty of the show again is that life coming back into Tala.
Okay, what attracts you more, stardom or the satisfaction in great performance?
I think if it all really boils down to the fact that being an actor is a very difficult choice sometimes to make. Being an actor is a very volatile profession. It's fleeting. The only reason I do it is because I feel like if I don't, I would go crazy. It's the only thing I've wanted to do my whole life. So when it comes to things like stardom and then the work itself, stardom and these things, I think they just come with the package. It's something that if you do well and you're recognized for it, which recognition I think is something that all actors desire, it's all about how you manage it. I would never say that the stardom or the fame is something that I don't enjoy. I think anyone who would say that is lying. It's a wonderful feeling to be recognized for your work. It's a wonderful feeling that people love you. They take time out of their days to write a message on your Instagram or to tweet something about you, or to meet you on the street and take a photo. It's a beautiful feeling, and it all stems from love. That's all it is. So I think for me, the most important thing is, of course, the work. I love the work. I love being on set. I love creating characters. Uh, that's been my life for the past 20 years almost. And I wouldn't give it up for anything. And when you start off as an actor, you're very hungry. You're hungry to just work, to just I mean, I consider any actor, I think, who's doing well considers the fact that they're getting paid to be an actor is a big deal. It's a very difficult profession. It's a profession that's um, again, very fleeting. You're only as good as your last hit sometimes, and that's a fact.
Okay. Now you say that you love what you do. It clearly shows that you love what you do. But then there are fans who tend to say that you just vanish for long periods of time. They would
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to hear more from you. Even when you're having a hit drama, for example, Memes and Mohabbat, for example, only now you have started posting some stories, and other actors they'll be posting almost anything and everything about the way the show is going on, for example. So you're a bit in terms of what an artist would be, a bit reclusive in a way as well. You like to be in your own world in a way.
uh, yeah. I think the thing is, I believe in people seeing the work. I think people should live in that fantasy. I mean, we do all this work. We create these stories. We go through these performances, which can be quite difficult sometimes for us to handle, because I want people to see the magic on the screen. I want them to see that. I feel like if I give people too much of me or who I am, I feel like it kind of does a disservice to the work. And there's varying opinions here. The reason I try my best to uh, do things on social media, to post something, is because I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the fans out there, that I feel like they want that, and I think it's unfair of me to completely hold back. Um, but yeah, that's always been my school of thought, is they should see the work instead of what I'm doing on a regular basis. My life is quite boring in that sense. I think my characters are exciting. I'm not as exciting as them.
You've said that before. I saw one of your interviews. Okay, so I was watching one of your interviews, and you said it's an interesting thing that it's important to look good on the camera. Like that the looks do make a difference. So when I've been watching, for example, a Memes of Mobile, for example, I notice the level of effort that you put in terms of your physicality, like in terms of your the way your trousers are, the way your shirts are. It's very obvious that you work out like religiously, for example, because you have a very uh, very wonderful waistline, for example. It's not like stretching from anywhere whatsoever. So you take very good care of the way you are looking on camera, which is wonderful.
I think a part of that has to do with the roles. I mean, I the role I was doing before I did Memes and all, I gained quite a bit of weight for that. I gained a lot of weight, more than I would have liked to, I think. So I think it really depends on what the character is, what they require out of me. But I think in, generally, I think as human beings, we should stay healthy. We should take care of our bodies. And as an actor, your body is your tool. Your brain is your tool, your heart, your lungs, everything. And I think it's important to take care of yourself because, well, it just is. We should all take care of ourselves. We live in a really fast-paced world where I think, fast food is quick, going to the gym is hard. You have to take care of yourself mentally, you have to take care of yourself physically. These things are important for an actor because once you dive into a role, you have to also pull yourself out. And I've always found pulling myself out to be the difficult part. I guess I've moved from the physical into the mental, but yeah, I feel like it's important to keep yourself physically fit and also like I've done a lot of work in how to change my physique and how I level it out. I felt someone like Talha would be lean. He'd be quite lean. So that's part of it. But I also believe, yes, it's important for us to look good on screen because, people are watching and I think they should, as long as what's visually there is streamlined and looks very aesthetic, people will focus on the story and the performances. At least that's my way of looking at it.
Okay, and um, you mentioned about Farhat Ishtiyaq ji, and now when it comes to, for example, if we talk about Tala, for example, I personally felt that it's like a very unique, and she told me, like I've interviewed her, she said that her influences vary. She's influenced by classic writers at the same time.
Yeah.
She's influenced by Mills and Boons, for example, as well, and this is something that we see in her dramas, that there is that element of classic literature at the same time, completely fluffy stuff that people relate to very, very easily. Now, when it comes to Tala, for example, I felt there are elements of Darcy in that. like an
Yeah, yeah,
element
yeah,
of
absolutely.
conceited है, थोड़ा सा rude भी at times होता है, and like is very sure of himself, so sure of himself that it can come across as in a way arrogant as well. At the same
Arrogant,
time,
yeah.
presented in a very Mills and Bones like manner in terms of the way the looks are, the way the way the beard is trimmed, for example, the way he carries himself. There's a complete um, charm and charisma in the whole thing. So how do you look at this unique concoction that Faraji manages to do? If you talk about Tala, for example, as one character.
Well, I think the best thing about Khaled Ishtiyak's writing is that no character is just there. No character is there just for the purpose of the story. That character is a full-fleshed human being. If we look at Talha, for example, I could have just played the role as if he was just, he worked in an office, he falls in love with a girl, he doesn't want anything to do with her, but there's a reason behind that. There's a whole story that backs up why this man acts the way he does. And that's a theme that I found in any of the roles that I've done that she's written. There is a whole story behind the character, and that's what influences who they are today. The backstory, their interactions with other characters. I think this idea of the brooding man. There are reasons the man is brooding. There's a reason he's arrogant. There's a reason that, he's cruel to one, but loving to another. You see the scenes between him and Mohid, he's a different person versus how he treats the rest of the world. And so the way she's written things, the way she develops the story really allows the actor, allows myself to dig into it and always ask certain questions to myself before a scene starts. Why am I going to say this? Why am I acting this way? Why is Talha responding the way he is? And I think that's what makes for a really good performance. I think if anyone says, "Okay, oh, Ahad, you did an amazing job in Meem Se Mohabbat," fine, but I'm only as good as the team that I have, the director, the amazing co-stars, the writing, the sets. So it's never it's I don't think it's a matter of me doing a good job. It's the people I have around me. It's the director controlling my performance when he needs to. It's the writer who's giving me the words to speak. I think my performance is only as good as the team that I have around me.
Okay, many requests for you and Dana Need to come together for another drama, maybe written by Farhat Ishtiyaq.
Yeah, why not? 100%. I think it'd be such a nice experience to work with the same team again. Because our set was really like it was like a family. because we spend most of the time on sets away from our actual families, away from home. And so it was such a fun, beautiful set to be on. And I think the energy was beautiful. The energy was very honest and genuine and wholesome. So, I really do hope I get to work with Ali again, with Dananir again. Uh, I don't know if I'd work with my dad again. That was the challenge.
I'll come to your dad, Swati, but okay, so does age difference matter in love?
I don't think so. I think age at one point is just a number, really. I think we look at age sometimes as if it's this like hard and fast rule about how old someone should be, how young they should be. I think when two people come together, when it makes sense, when there's love there, it doesn't matter. I think we look at a lot of couples. It's age is not really a thing. I know couples that are 15 years apart, 10 years apart, 8 years apart, 6 years apart. And I think at the end of the day, when two people make sense together, when there's love, and it shouldn't really matter.
All right. So, you've obviously you're part of Jo Bache Hain Sang Samet Lo, Farhat
Yeah.
Ishtiaqji's novel, and you've mentioned in one of the interviews that it is maybe the most challenging role that you've ever been given.
Yes. To this day, I do believe it was still the most difficult.
And why do you say that?
Sometimes there's places that you go as an actor that really do make you as an individual feel uncomfortable. Um, the subject matter in the show, the character and his struggles are something that I think just was really difficult for me to grasp because it was dark. It was um, it was difficult. It was a difficult role to take on. Um, and I think I mean I can't give away too much about it, but it was I struggled because I struggled to let go of the scene once it was over. I struggled to let go of him once it was over because I mean I changed myself for it. I changed everything. I think it kind of, without sounding too dire, took a chunk out of me. Um so yeah, I think there's some roles that just they stick with you for a bit. You have to actually cleanse yourself of them after the process. Because you have to remember what we do sometimes is an actor's job is weird. We have to act in ways that aren't really, it's not real. It's not real at the end of the day, but your job is to make it real. So what happens is sometimes in your subconscious, it, it's there. Your brain starts thinking things are real. And I'm not getting too much into the whole artsy craft of it, but as a human being, when I'm living the same role every day, doing scenes that to me seem obscure, it does eventually affect you. If I asked you, you have to spend the next 10 days being nothing but angry. Once those 10 days are over, you're still going to struggle to let go of this fake anger, this anger that's come out of nowhere. You're going to struggle to let go of it. And I think that was one of the reasons this role was quite challenging. And yeah, but I had great support in that show. I had great support from my co-stars, and um, yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Okay, and you paired with Iqra Aziz, I believe.
Gee,
How was the experience?
amazing working with Ikra was incredible. I think she's one of the most generous actors that I've worked with. And yeah, I guess I can't say too much about that, but she was a wonderful actor to work with, very supportive, and a joy, really.
And the star cast is a dream. मुझे लगता है कि that in the entire subcontinent, maybe it is one of the most eagerly awaited projects uh, that that can possibly come out of the subcontinent. Fawad Khan, Mahira Khan. It's like it can't get Hania Amir is there as well. So tell us something about the huge star cast which is there, and how exciting is it?
I think what's special about it is it's a project that's brought us all together. Otherwise, I don't think there would be another opportunity where all of us like got to share the same screen, got to share the same project, to be seen in this giant, this massive scale narrative. I think it's a big deal for all of us. It's a big deal because I don't think otherwise it would have been possible for us all to get together for something like this. And I'm very happy it being the first, Pakistani original. Um, it's a big moment, and for us to all come together and really, I think everybody brought their A game. So it's something that I really look forward. I look forward to the world seeing it.
Okay, and when exactly is it releasing?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew, but I believe it's this year.
This year, sometime this year. All
Yeah.
right. And you guys shot in Italy, I believe.
Yeah, we shot in Italy, we shot in the UK, we shot quite a bit in Pakistan. So it was quite a bit of an adventure.
The level of production, how important is it for you guys? The scale of production.
It's very important. The scale is sometimes what sets the tone for an actor. We can feel it sometimes, you know. Um, I think the bigger the scale, the bigger the stakes are. You want this to do well. You want your performance to be just as big as the scale. And I think that's why everyone's worked so hard on it because there's so much. There's a lot of. I mean, I'm not going to call it pressure. A lot of excitement.
Okay, now, one question that I would have for you is that I personally feel the Pakistani drama industry is truly spectacular. The sort of work that is happening, the quantum of work that is happening is wonderful.
Right.
The level of writing is excellent. The OSTs are wonderful. The performances, the number of actors who are putting in fantastic work is tremendous. The star value is something which is amazing. Why is it that it is not percolating down to Pakistani films? Because there have been several Pakistani films which are really wonderful, but the quantum is very less. So why do you think this disparity between drama industry and the film industry?
Okay. I think well, there's two ways to answer it. The first being it's business. We don't have a whole lot of screens in the country, and sometimes for a producer to take the risk and make a film is sometimes a difficult decision to make. Um, but I think beyond that, we're good at the long form. We're good at telling the long story. We're good at really fleshing um,
Mm.
characters out, fleshing out a story, fleshing out a script. Um, Film is a whole different monster altogether. A serial you have anywhere from 26 to 50 episodes, whereas a film you've got an hour and 40 minutes, 2 hours to tell a whole story. So the format is also completely different. I would love to see more films being made in the country, but I think really right now it's just a matter of really feasibility.
Feasibility. Okay. Now you spoke about the long story format and 26 episodes to 50 episodes. I saw a comment yesterday and someone was like frantically requesting कि please इसको मीम से मोहब्बत को अभी खत्म मत करिए
Yeah.
and it should continue and we can have the backstory. We can. So
Uh,
how does someone zero in on the people's expectations, because it should not stretch either. You should end on a high. That's something which is very important. So how does one decide the high?
I think it's best कि लोग ये कह रहे हैं कि एपिसोड्स बढ़ा दें, 10 और एपिसोड्स हों, instead of खुदा के लिए इसको खत्म कर दें,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel like I feel like I'd rather want people wanting more than saying we've had enough. And again, every story has its limitations. There's a conflict that needs to be resolved. And eventually, if you stretch the conflict out too much, like a piece of gum, it'll just snap. So I think it's best to wrap things up when it naturally feels like it. I feel so good that people still want more episodes. They want to see more of Talha and Ayat. Um, but every story does come to an end, and I think it needs to be summed up because I'd prefer people live in that high.
And can there be a season 2 for Memes and Mohabbat?
That's a good question for Moment of the Day.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. Now, I was watching an interview of your father, Asif Samir
Gee.
Saab, and he said कि मैं उसकी तारीफ आहत की मैं क्यों तारीफ करूं, वो मेरी तारीफ नहीं करता है, मेरे परफॉर्मेंसेस की.
Yeah.
तो फिर
Uh, I think Baba and I, मैं तारीफ़ें करता हूँ, मैं बहुत करता हूँ, but I think we have a very interesting uh, relationship when it comes to our own work. एक तो मैं वैसे अपना काम नहीं देखता हूँ, बाबा भी नहीं देखते हैं, but मैं उनका देखता हूँ, वो मेरा देखते हैं. And I feel like तारीफ़ वैसे वो करते हैं, he lets me know if I've done a good job.
Right.
Um, but we've got a bit of a banter when it comes to work, you know, it's been और सिर्फ हमारे बीच में नहीं है my दादी will say my son did a better job, my mom will say no my son did a better job, तो घर में ये फड्डे चल रहे रहते हैं, but when it comes to just to watching my father work, it's been a it's incredible, and I'm fortunate that we got to have this opportunity to work together on this show. But no, I'm very proud of him, and I think he's proud of me.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
but yeah, it was a very interesting experience working with him. That's for sure.
Okay, now you talk about your mother. So when your parents moved to Canada, they had a struggle. Your mother has literally done odd jobs, which a lot of people who move to Canada they experience it, especially in the
Yeah.
initial stages of their lives. What has that taught you? That leaving a life of stardom, going to a different country, and going through all that.
Oh, you see, when we were in Canada, I moved when I was quite young, so I was not witness to who my father was, which I think he possibly did on purpose just to kind of keep us away from it, because I think that maybe I would have ended up as not who I am today. Um, but I think the time there has taught me a lot of things. It's taught me humility. It's taught me how a family should function. It's taught me a lot, and I think the strange thing was when I came back to Pakistan and people are taking pictures with my father, and I kind of had this look of, wait a second, what's going on? So it was kind of getting accustomed to who he is, um, to a nation that I was not aware of. And our time in Canada was it was a simple time. It were good times, bad times, but it was simple. Um, do I miss that? Yes, I miss my life in that sense quite a bit. But I think I wouldn't have changed anything, and I'm very fortunate that my parents, they made the move when they did, because it's given me a large spectrum in understanding the world. I understand quite a bit of the West. I understand the East, and I think it's been a very it's been an education I don't think I otherwise would have gotten had I stayed in one place.
Okay, and you went to University of Calgary,
Yeah,
and you studied drama over there, I believe.
yeah.
Memories of your university.
Memories of university. I wish I didn't take things so seriously. That's the one thing I wish I would have done. I wish I would have enjoyed it more. I worked really hard. Um, and when I was doing my degree, it was, for me, it was, I just want to get the most out of this that I can. Which I wish I slowed down a little bit, enjoyed that time a bit more. Um, but what I learned in that school, is something I still, I utilize to this day. But the biggest and most important lesson is that it's okay to fail. It's okay to, it's made me feel like I don't have any sense of fear when it comes to failure. When you're on a set, there's 50, 60 people waiting for you to get your work right. All that setup is happening just for you. And I think that's really helped me to forgive myself instantly if I've made a mistake or something like that. But it's also taught me that, you got to be ready when you get to set. You have to be ready to do your job, because everybody else is counting on you to get the take right, so that everybody can go home at the end of the day. Um, and so the practice that you get going to school for art, whether it be, music, art, dance, theater, is just you constantly fine tuning your skills and getting rid of that fear. Because if I live in that fear, if I make a mistake on set and I just start going, "Oh man, I'm so bad. What have I done?" Then I'm never gonna get the work done. So I think, it killed the fear in me. And there's no fear in me when it comes to my work.
Right, and apparently you visit Canada every year maybe, and you do just some workshops and you do your theaters. That's your form
Yeah,
of maybe training, I believe.
uh, more than training, it's brings me back down to earth. It,
Mm.
it it allows me to go back to my roots, which I'm so lucky that I still get to do, because I started on stage. I did stage for years. And the fact that I'm lucky enough that I get called back to, Calgary or Toronto to do a show is lovely. It brings me back to the roots. It reminds me why I started doing this in the first place is because of my love for it, because of my passion for it, because having an audience in front of you is a totally different experience than, I don't unfortunately get to watch the show with the fans, but when I'm on stage, they're right there with me. And every show is different. Every show is a different experience. And it's been nice because ever since I've started doing it after my career here, it's my one opportunity to interact with the people who watch my work and who appreciate my work. And I think that one of the best feelings is to see all these desis in a theater. Otherwise, how are you gonna fill 1,000 seats for Hamlet? It's nice to see. I mean, when we went, we did the show in Toronto, it was packed. And the feeling of, they've all come together. It's not so much about me, but it's about everyone else saying, one of our boys is on stage. Let's go support him. That feeling is tremendous. And then people also see, yeah, Pakistan, this entire region, we are what the full of passion, full of love, and there's no better feeling.
All right. So now you've done a Netflix Resident Evil. You've done BBC.
Gee.
Um, you've been born and brought up in not born, but in a way brought up in Canada. You're a Canadian citizen.
Mm.
Liberal worldview. Um, so do you have an agent, maybe say in Hollywood, for example, in US maybe or UK? And would you want to maybe do more work in the West?
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm open to doing work anywhere. I think as an actor, you don't limit yourself as to where you can work. I think the only real qualifying factor is language. If you speak the language, you should explore that market. And you learn a lot. You learn a lot from doing productions and projects in different countries. You see how people work. You see the different dynamics, and it's a great experience. So whenever I have something that I do abroad, it's always a lot of fun. But again, the focus and the primary hub will always be Pakistan.
All right. Do you, as an actor, considering you've you've lived for most parts, especially of your childhood and you're growing up in Canada, um, do you have this in a way dilemma of having this liberal mindset, but at the same time maybe that being judged by, like, you get a lot of love from the subcontinent, but at the same time there's an element of judgment as well all the time कि यार ये क्यों कर दिया, वो क्यों कर दिया, या फिर in terms of एज डिफरेंस को लेके या फिर किसी और सर्टेन चीजों को लेकर, do you, as an actor, how do you just censor yourself, or maybe not censor yourself, try and resist from censoring anything?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I don't put it so much on Canada per se, but I put it more on my upbringing, my family. Um, I think I don't find that I censor myself in any way. I think when it comes to judgment or criticism, that's gonna happen no matter what. People aren't gonna like everything I do. Some people, I have to bring to my side by doing better work or whatever it is. But my choices for what I decide to do for work, they always sit, in my heart. If I feel it's a story that needs to be told, if it's a character I don't think I've explored, then I 100%, jump on it. But on a societal level, I think that yes, I come from a very open mind. I think that I don't restrict myself necessarily when it comes to work. Um, I don't know. I think that's about it. I find that it might be a liberal way of thinking, but I don't know. I'm not sure how to answer that question. I just feel like my upbringing has been very 50-50. I've spent most of my life in Pakistan now at this point, and I it's interesting because you leave a place when you're very young, you absorb another country, you come back and reabsorb where your roots are from, and you kind of understand both places very differently. And you also realize that it's never fair to compare. One country has its own pros and cons, and you have to just kind of take it as it is. And you have to be sensitive of where you are, because wherever you live, you've got to be sensitive to their norms, the culture, um, the rights and wrongs, how people also view certain issues, or the opinions. You have to respect where you are. I think that's the most important thing I've taken away from it. Um, yeah,
I have fan questions, so, and let's see what your fans have to say. So this is
sure.
Laiba Batul. She's saying Yaqeen Ka
Okay.
Safar was a soul-stirring drama of art that gave him immense popularity in Pakistan. The whole Pakistan was crushing off over Dr. Khan, including me. Until now, I'm not able to forget that masterpiece which he delivered.
Yeah, Yakin ka Safar was a great experience. Yeah, that essentially that show changed my life. It was basically my first show, and then all the love I got from that kind of just it was, I don't know, maybe if I was ready for what was coming, I wasn't aware of it. For me, I was just doing the best that I could. And since then, yeah, I think Dr. Esfanyar is still a character that still resonates with people, and I'm so happy about that.
Great. This is Ritika Agarwal. Ahad Raza Mir definitely has been living rent free in my mind for a while now. Damn his eyes. Lots of love to him from India. Rent free in my mind.
Yeah, well, lots of love right back. Nice to know that I'm living rent free. That's a good feeling.
All right. This is Mughar. Mughar. So Ahad conveys emotions even by a twerk of his eyebrow. Um, and Hum Tum and drama serial is wow. So basically, she's quoting Hum Tum that's wonderful. She really likes it.
No, it's great. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, Estelle Liz. Ahad Dananir pairing gives similar vibes of Bollywood couples Ranbir Alia. They're truly amazing and damn cute together, just like made for each other pair. How do you look at comparisons? Do you uh, like the comparisons? Do you think that it's unfair? Every every pairing maybe is unique in its own way.
Oh, I mean, every pairing is unique in its own way, but I think people are going to compare regardless. And I mean, they're comparing to another, lovely couple. So it's good to know that people, you know, um, appreciate the chemistry between two actors, and it's a good feeling. It's good because both actors work really hard. They work hard to create a chemistry, to create this kind of synergy between the two characters, and it's lovely when it just works out in that way.
Fantastic. Okay, this is Nutella and chips. At the
Oh,
rate
that's an interesting
Nutella
combination.
and chips, yeah. What makes his show so unique is that it's so unpredictable and keeps on surprising us. We all know what's going to happen, yet we are left speechless after a promo or an episode. Very well done to the entire team of Meme Se Mohabbat. I also like how they include so many words of the Urdu language that are not regularly used in common life and for people who live abroad. We get to learn a few new words and experience Pakistani culture as well.
Yeah, it's true. I think Urdu is such a beautiful language, and I it's been amazing. It's been a huge learning for me, doing these scripts. And Farhat also writes beautifully, writes poetically. Um, you said something at the beginning of that statement. What was it? I wanted to comment on it.
What makes this show so unique is that it's unpredictable. It is so unpredictable and keeps on surprising us.
Yeah,
We all know is what's going to happen, yet we are left speechless after a promo or an episode.
yeah. It's I love that because people know what's going to happen. The audience is very intelligent. The audience understands how a story is going to move. But the thing is, it's the process, it's the journey getting there, which is the fun part. I mean, if you आप आप रेस्टोरेंट जाते हैं, आपको पता है आप खाना खाएंगे, आपको पता है इनमें पेट आपका भर जाएगा, ठीक है, that's fine. But it's the process, it's the getting there, ordering the food, फिर खाना आपका आता है, then you look at the food, people take pictures of the food, they eat the food, they feel the satisfaction. End of the day, आपको ये पता है कि, I'll be full, I'll be fed at the end. But it's the journey, it's the process that we love.
Right. So she's talking about Urdu, but apparently when you came back from Canada, you had a bit of a journey getting acquainted with the language.
It was a journey. मतलब I hardly spoke the language.
Right. अभी जैसे आपने शारिक को आप जब आप कहते हैं कि इनकी थोड़ी तवाज़ुन और करो, तो
Uh-huh.
अभी तो एकदम बिल्कुल आप सुर में आ चुके हैं।
I think so. I think with a lot of practice, a lot of अभी भी मैं जब सोचता हूँ कि I think 2016 में जब आया था, तो एक तो it was I couldn't read Urdu at that point. So what I did was I decided कि okay, 6 महीने सिर्फ उर्दू बोलनी है. That's it. And that 6 months I think paid off. Um, और फिर भी आप जब सेट पर होते हैं तो वैसे ही प्रैक्टिस हो जाती है. But the real success of it is now that I can read Urdu, that I feel comfortable now in how I approach things. But it was definitely a process, okay. Uh, a language that it's in there somewhere. Unlocking it was the difficult and the fun part.
Amazing. Okay. This is Madhu Gupta. Dananir is beautiful like Madhubala and Wahidaji. She is God-gifted actress. I like this drama. Best in all dramas. Ahad and Dana should do more dramas. Best जोड़ी. So ये दानानीर को मधुबाला और वहीदा रहमान से कंपेयर कर रही हैं और आपकी जोड़ी को कह रही हैं कि बेस्ट जोड़ी है.
Yeah, I think it's been a very I've loved working with her, and I think she's so talented, and I can't wait to see what she does next. And whenever the opportunity comes to work with her again, for sure, I would look forward to it.
Okay. This is Trendy Vibe. What a beautiful confession by Talha. It's affected me for 2 days. I can't wait for next episode. Have seen all the dramas of Ahad Raza Mir. Amazing, amazing actor. तो ये बेसिकली ये कन्फेशन की बात कर रही है कि मोहब्बत करता हूँ तुमसे. अब क्या क्या बात थी भाई. वो जो आपने बोला है
But
मतलब वो एकदम दिल से एकदम बिल्कुल मतलब फ्लो में कि कहना भी नहीं चाह रहा हूँ, एक प्राइड है, लेकिन फिर वो निकल
yeah,
जाता है कि
yeah.
मोहब्बत करता हूँ तुमसे.
Well, you know what's interesting about that scene is that there's again there's two ways to look at it. एक तो आप बहुत ड्रामेटिक कर लें कि he says what he wants to say, फिर वो पॉज़ लेता है, कहता है,
राइट.
"मोहब्बत करता हूँ तुमसे," however it is. But that's not real. Nobody takes those gaps. ये आप बोलते-बोलते आपको बस ये लग मोहब्बत करता हूँ तुमसे, like it just comes out because it needs to come out at that moment. He realizes उसके पास कुछ भी नहीं है कि अब वो यूज़ कर सके, उसको समझाए, उसको बोले यार ये don't do this, don't do that. It becomes about this is the last thing I have, and he just gives it to her, you know. And even after saying that, she walks away. She says, she says, "Get out of here." And then he realizes he's lost. He's said that he's loved her, and he's not getting anything from her. And that's where he really starts to think. And that's why I think that वो जुमला जो था वो एकदम निकलता है because he realizes he needs to say it now. He felt it. He just said it.
That's amazing actually. Okay, this is Mamta Das. Adil Zamir is an outstanding performer and an excellent actor. How much we say about him is less. He's a superstar. I have watched all his dramas except Angan, and I couldn't find it. He nailed each and every character. Eagerly waiting for Jo Bache Hain Sang Samet Lo, a Netflix series, and I really liked him in Long Hair. Please, Ahad, do more dramas. Your fans really can't wait for 2 or more years to see you all on dramas. Lots of love from India. So, in fact, किसी और ने ये भी एक mention किया था कि आंगन drama apparently it's not there on YouTube.
हाँ जी, YouTube पे नहीं है. That's one drama that it was on air, but it didn't. I don't believe it was on YouTube at the same time, and I'm not sure what's happening with it. But I hope people get to see it. It was a good show.
Right. So what do you have to say to Mamta Das?
Well, first of all, thank you for what you said. It's very kind of you, and I will do my best not to take too much time to work on something. Now, I think, um, yeah, I've had a bad habit of taking my time, which I think frustrates a lot of fans. So because of that, I think I will be a bit more active from now on.
Okay, so apart from Jo Bache Hain Sang Samet Lo, anything else that's coming up that you like to talk about?
No, I wish there was something. I wish I could give you what I'm working on next, but I haven't read anything that I feel I've connected to yet. But I really hope so. I hope I get to be on a set again soon. Um, Beyond that, I think one of the reasons I take my time is just because I don't want to do something just for the sake of it. I also feel that after I do a performance, after I'm done at a set, I like to, like I said, cleanse myself of the role, and sometimes that can take a bit of time. Um, and also, leaving a set, finishing the work is a very emotional day. It's quite painful for an actor sometimes because you've spent the past, it could be 6 months, 4 months with the same people every day. You get to know those people, you get to live that character, so essentially, and I've said this before, on the last day of set, you have to kill your character. I have to actually remove Talha. He no longer exists. He exists to the people now, not even to me. So those are always difficult days, and I sometimes have a hard time letting go of the experience because it's so beautiful, and especially when you start watching it and people are talking about how much they love it and you start thinking about your amazing times on set, the amazing people that were there. I miss Mohid. I miss Abu Huraira. I had such a great time with that kid. He's a sweet kid and he's so talented, and I miss him.
Yeah,
And
he's very sweet, yeah.
those are difficult moments, I think, for all of us.
Would you like to direct?
I think one day, yes. I think that's maybe a next step that I'll eventually take. It's a daunting task. Directing is it's not easy. Having to handle a story, handle characters, and have a cohesive vision of that project that you're doing is a very it sounds like it is a lot of work, you know. But I think eventually that's something I'd like to dabble into because I I feel like there's as an actor, you're only telling a story of your character, but it'd be interesting to tell a story as a whole. Um, so I think definitely that's something that I would look into.
Great. Okay. This is Sara. I'm an Arab and I never liked any Pakistani actor like him. He's a legendary actor. He was the reason I started to watch Pakistani dramas. Sara.
That's so sweet. Thank you, Sada. Um, yeah, I hope I can. Uh, it's it's tough because I find that every time I do something, people really connect to it, and I just I want to make sure not to let them down or let myself down. So I think that's why sometimes I take my time. But yeah, thank you. It's very kind of Sarah to say.
Dr. Mahapara A. Ali. I'm obsessed, and the way Ahad Raza Mir has always done justice to the characters assigned is impeccable to watch.
Hmm. No, it's a yeah, I think it's really nice to hear comments like this sometimes because we really do spend a lot of time developing the character, who they are, It's for me that's the look, at the end of the day, my job is between action and cut. That's all the time I get, right? So the work that all of us do before the prep work, the lines, the thinking about the subtext, the thinking about how he will be feeling in this moment, all that work needs to be done, and then you only have action and cut to convey all the hard work you did before, and that can be quite scary because sometimes as a human being you make wake up in a bad mood, you wake up in a good mood. Maybe I have to do a dramatic scene, but my mood is great. So it's this very weird balance between your own life and the life that you're supposed to be playing. Um, so yeah, that's always something that I think is weird as an actor to kind of to deal with.
Yeah, I think you've got a very solid fan base. Someone from New York messaged me, and she was like that. Like many people, they have been requesting for your interview, and so I was given your manager's email, and not email, but Instagram handle that you should approach her. And Ahad is like थोड़ा सा इतना आसान नहीं है उन तक पहुंचना type whatever. So the level of devotion that your fans have is truly commendable.
Yeah, yeah. I always say it this way. My fans are literally my family. The support, the love, that you only get that from your family members. So I genuinely feel like I even sometimes find the word fans to be not good enough. They are truly like family members. And whenever I meet anyone who's a fan when I'm out and about, it's such a nice feeling because it's like you're connecting with a family member that you haven't seen in forever. So it's so I don't have words for my fans, my family, because this much love, this much support. Uh, I consider myself very lucky. I think God is good to me, and I again I get emotional just thinking about it. So it's a very beautiful feeling.
First of all, thank you very much for your time. I know that it's very late in Pakistan, but I've been really looking forward to this conversation. I still have a few rapid fire questions. I would
Sure, yeah,
request that
let's
if
do
you
it.
can allow me some more time. And
Of course.
I'll be very honest. I've done many interviews, but I genuinely find you as a really unique talent and very
Thank you.
commendable of what you've been doing. You know, in a way, after so many years, one thing that I've realized that um, you connect with stars, but I personally connect with artists a bit more at this stage. I don't know why.
Right.
And the way your entire trajectory is, and your approach towards your craft, it's truly which is very fascinating. Okay, so we'll quickly wrap up with a rapid fire, and thank you very much for
Okay.
your patience. All right, so rapid fire with Adra Zamir. अपने सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर को 3 वर्ड्स में आप कैसे डिस्क्राइब करेंगे?
Uh, sarcastic, sometimes dark, um, and witty. I'd say.
ऑफ कोर्स कोई ऐसी ट्रोलिंग या कंट्रोवर्सी जिसने आपको सच में हर्ट किया हो?
देखिए मैं तो I read as many comments and X पे जो भी वो comments आते हैं, people make posts and stuff like that. I think this is something that you kind of sign up for. Not everybody's gonna like you. Not everyone's gonna enjoy the work you do. So at the end of the day, I think it's a duty of to me that I should get people to. I should do more work to get people on my side. But no, I don't think there's any comments or anything like that that really get to me. I'm trolling. ये चीज़ें तो होती रहेंगी. That shouldn't discount all the amazing fans that I have who do support my work. Though, they're the ones that make me feel so good about myself. I think the trolling doesn't matter.
ऑलराइट। आपके अकॉर्डिंग से कौन-सा एक्टर डिफेंस यूनिफॉर्म में सबसे अच्छा लगता है?
Defense uniform, man. Oh, I think any actor would look good in a uniform. I think that's a uniform is a fun thing to wear. So I think any actor would look good.
You've donned as
Uh,
well.
oh yeah, I've loved wearing that uniform.
ओके, ये बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल है। अगर हैमलेट की मुलाकात तलहा से हो, दोनों किस टॉपिक पे बात करेंगे?
Hey, it sounds dark, but I feel they would talk about death. They would talk about death and how it affects them. I think they would talk about the contemplate the meaning of life, how to let go of things. Um, Hamlet is somebody who is active. He wants to act on, you know, what's happening to him. Whereas Talha, I think, is just getting by. So I think it'd be interesting for them to have that conversation about action versus not taking action on something. Yeah.
अमेजिंग। ओके, अगर किसी कैरेक्टर के साथ वार्डरोब स्वैप करना हो तो कौन होगा?
See, character के साथ,
या आपने कोई कैरेक्टर प्ले किया?
like, oh. Well, I don't think I'd have to swap with them. I think I am those characters. So a part of me is that wardrobe.
आपका डायरेक्टोरियल डेब्यू किस जॉनरा में हो सकता है?
Romance में ही होगा.
अमेजिंग, ऑलराइट। ऑल टाइम फेवरेट रोमांटिक फिल्म?
All-time favorite romantic film. Oh wow. I'm a big fan of The Sound of Music.
ओह
That's
ग्रेट,
that's one of my favorite romantic film. It's a musical, but it's a film that makes you feel good, makes you believe in the power of love and family, and yeah, beautiful film.
ग्रेट। क्रेज़िएस्ट फैन गर्ल मोमेंट अगर कोई आपको याद हो?
I wouldn't call them crazy. I would call them passionate. I've had moments where people have uh, maybe this was also initially in the start of my career where people would start crying or start becoming overwhelmed. And I think that's just a reaction of like I said, it's like you're meeting a family member after so long. So it's um I wouldn't call them crazy fan moments. I'd call them, they're passionate, they're emotional about seeing you. I think I would feel the same way if I um hadn't seen a family member in so long. And yeah, I think I would never call it a crazy moment. It's a loving moment.
ग्रेट। फॉलोइंग लोगों के लिए अगर आप एक वर्ड में इनको डिस्क्राइब कर सकें, फरहत इश्तियाक जी को अगर आप एक वर्ड में डिस्क्राइब कर सकें?
I want to say the word legendary, but I also want to say sensitive. I think the way she develops roles, she really thinks about them and what they feel. Um,
हुँ,
so I'd say sensitive.
ग्रेट। दाना नीर?
Dana Neer. In one word, I don't know how it's hard to describe people in one word somehow, but magical.
मैजिकल, ऑफ कोर्स। मावरा?
Mavra, brilliant.
ऑलराइट। कोको कोरिना?
Toba Toba.
व्हाई?
Uh,
I thought
Coco Corina.
it was the comments apparently were the comments was
Oh, it was a fun time.
uh,
Coco Corina, like fun, very fun,
yeah, I thought it was fun actually. विलियम शेक्सपियर?
genius,
जीनियस, ओके। कौन सा सेलिब्रिटी सबसे विटी इंस्टाग्राम कैप्शंस लिखता है आपके अकॉर्डिंग?
wittiest captions. My little brother Adnan.
ऑलराइट, ओके। अगर आपके सभी कैरेक्टर्स एक थेरेपी सेशन में मिल जाएं, तो कौन सबसे ज्यादा बोलेगा और कौन बिल्कुल चुप रहेगा?
हुई। कौन सबसे ज़्यादा बोलेगा, कौन चुप रहेगा? I think Sikandar would stay quiet. and I think Adam from Hum Tum would talk the most.
ओके। आपका मोस्ट यूज्ड इमोजी क्या है?
एक there's the वो होता है ना ये बंदा ये वाला
ओके,
this guy. That's my most used. I don't know what you'd call him. The shrugging guy.
ओके, ऑलराइट। ओके, ये एक बड़ा मुश्किल सवाल मैं आपसे पूछने वाला हूँ और ये वाक़ई मुश्किल है। हाइपोथेटिकली
Bring it on. हाँ,
हाइपोथेटिकली अगर शेक्सपियर और फरहत इश्तियाक जी दोनों आपको एक वक़्त पर अपने ड्रामे ड्रामे के लिए कास्ट करना चाहें, तो आप किसकी स्क्रिप्ट को चूज़ करेंगे?
Farhat Ishtiaq. Without a doubt.
ओके, दैट्स
I
दैट्स
love Shakespeare, but I'm very biased when it comes to Farhat Ishtiaq.
आई एम श्योर दैट शी वुड लव टू हियर दैट। ओके, ये या वो आइदर और अगर आप एक चूज़ करना चाहें,
हाँ,
ड्रामे सेट का कम्फर्ट या स्टेज की एनर्जी?
stage की energy.
लव स्टोरी या साइकोलॉजिकल थ्रिलर?
Hey. देखिए, I think there's a bit of romance in anything, any story ever told. So I'll have to go with psychological thriller.
ओके, दैट्स
उसके
इंटरेस्टिंग।
अंदर वैसे ही मैं love डाल दूँगा.
ऑलराइट। अस्पंडियार का काम या हैमलेट का chaos?
Hamlet का chaos.
पावर रेंजर्स या गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स?
Oh, Power Rangers. You know, I've never watched Game of Thrones.
रोमांटिक सीन्स या कोर्ट रूम कन्फ्रंटेशंस?
Romantic scenes.
एक्टिंग या डायरेक्शन इफ यू हैव टू चूज वन?
Acting.
लॉन्ग ड्राइव्स विद म्यूजिक या पीसफुल वॉक्स अलोन?
Is there someone sitting with me in the long drive?
या,
The long drive.
ऑलराइट। फेम या क्रिएटिव फ्रीडम?
Creative freedom.
इंटेंस स्क्रिप्ट या लाइट हार्टेड कॉमेडी?
Intense script.
ओल्ड स्कूल सीडीज या स्ट्रीमिंग एप्स?
Old school CDs for sure.
ऑन स्टेज मिस्टेक्स या ऑन स्क्रीन ब्लूपर्स?
On stage mistakes all the way. All the way. Oof. When things go wrong, the best things happen.
दैट्स अ गुड वन एक्चुअली। ओके, साइलेंट कैरेक्टर्स या ड्रामेटिक रोल?
You know, I've never done a silent character. That would be fun.
ओके, पोएट्री लिखना या गिटार बजाना?
Guitar bajana.
अवार्ड्स या लाइव ऑडियंस का स्टैंडिंग ओवेशन?
Live audience का standing ovation anytime. That's वो ऐसा एक high है जो there's no comparison. There is nothing that beats that feeling, that energy of everyone together and just it's infectious.
That's amazing. All right. So, Ahad, thank you very much for your time. Wonderful talking to you, and congratulations for a fantastic
You as
journey
well.
so far. And congratulations for Memes and Mohabbat. Truly,
Thank
truly
you.
a very entertaining show. But at the same time, मुझे लगता है कि इसमें काफी subtext है. लोग entertainment को बहुत enjoy कर रहे हैं, but इसमें subtext भी काफी है, which is also wonderful as
Gigi.
well. So, congratulations and thank you once again for your time and Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak to you. Thank you so much.